All right. All right. So we'll get started with the session. Good evening, everyone. At the onset, first of all, I would like to thank you on the behalf of KGS group. For the round of introductions, and then probably I would share what I have in for you today and how would be going ahead with this particular course. Okay, and feel free to stop me wherever you have any questions, thoughts, or comments. All right. So with that, let me just give my introduction first. As I said, I am Warren Bansal. I carry almost a decade-long experience in the area of business analysis, and specifically, if I talk about domain, my domain is healthcare. I have worked in other domains as well, like banking, retail.
Excuse
Um,
me, sorry for interruption.
sure.
I cannot hear you properly.
Hey, can others confirm if you can they hear me?
Yeah. Now it's better. Yeah, it was very low.
Oh,
Yeah, now
okay.
it's better.
I'll try
Yeah,
to speak closer to the mic. Is it better now?
Yeah. Okay, great.
All right, awesome. So what I'll do is I'll just give my introduction once again. So I'm Varun Bansal. I carry a decade-long experience in the area of business analysis, and my mainly the focus of my domain has been healthcare. I have worked in other domains as well, like banking and retail, but healthcare has been my major focus. There are a couple of certifications that I have done in the area of business analysis, specifically from the methodology perspective. So one is your PSM, which is Product Owner Certification, Scrum Master Certification, and then PSPO, that is the Product Owner Certification. So that's my experience. We'll go around, we'll do a round table, and then we'll start with your introductions. These are the few things that I'm expecting from you. So first of all, your name, then your location, what do you do, a brief summary of your career, and the most important thing that I'm looking forward to understand from you is your expectations from this particular course. So, as and when we move forward with this particular course, I can accordingly uh, I can try to fulfill your expectations from this course. Okay. So, give me a minute. Let me just open the participants list. All right. So, we'll first start with Kenneth. Kenneth, can you please introduce yourself to the group?
my name is Kenneth Ekekalo.
Yep,
Uh,
Kenneth, I can hear you. Go ahead.
yeah, I have background in civil engineering. I did my master's in engineering management. Uh,
I
my,
cannot hear. I don't know why. The voice is very low.
I said
Uh,
my name is Kenneth. Did you get that?
yes, Kenneth, I can hear you properly.
Yeah. Okay.
I said my name is Kenneth Ekekalo. I'm from Nigeria. I have bachelor's degree in civil engineering, and I got my master's in engineering management in December. I've had brief work experience as a civil engineer, but not as a project manager or engineering manager. My specialty in this course is to boost my career. I'm presently searching for a job. I want things that will spice up my resume, that will make me more competitive in the job market.
Got it, Kenneth. Got it. And I'm hopeful that this training would help you uh, boost your career. Welcome on board, Kenneth.
Uh,
Uh, Naman, we'll go next with you.
Okay, my name is Naman. I'm currently located in Fremont, California. Um, I have a bachelor's degree in commerce, and I just graduated with an MBA degree in finance. From this course, I'm looking to learn more about business analysis and giving me a competitive edge in the market or enlarging my skill sets as of right now.
All right. Understood. Welcome on board. Naman, and I'm hoping that again, as I said to Kenneth, I'm hoping that this training will give you enough competitive edge in the market.
Sure. Thank you.
Uh, Rubana, can we go next with you?
Yes, so my name is Rubana Yasmin Lupu. I graduated from Information Technology last year from Kansas State University. I live in Atlanta, Georgia. So from the last 1 year, I have been working in a company as a volunteer in their database, but I wanted to explore something in the business analyst field.
Hmm.
So that's why, yeah, I'm trying to, um, yeah,
Got it.
get a
Sure.
job. Yeah.
All right. Welcome on board, Romana, and I'm hoping that this training will help you understand the concepts of business analysis.
Okay.
Uh, Saroj, will go next with you.
Right. Hi everyone. Myself Saroj. Talking about myself. Right now I'm in California. I've just moved from the East Coast. I did my master's in IT, MSc IT from Wilmington University. That's in Delaware, so it's all the way up to the East Coast. So, my major was IT project management. So for me, like I pretty much like learned a theoretical concept of the project management and the different kind
Hmm.
of system development life cycles, agile, scrum. So what I'm expecting from this training is like I do want to know about like how the professional work will go on
Hmm.
in the real time basis, like how the agile will work on the project,
Hmm.
something like that. So I just want to have a professional knowledge so that I can work on that basis. So that's what I'm expecting from this course. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your expectations, Saroj. And good you brought that point up because, again, what I would like to clarify to the group here is that yes, we do real life case studies. We do use real life case studies as well as we have a lot of case studies which would help you implement the concepts of business analysis that we would be learning in the class. And definitely I have also been working on so many projects. I would be sharing my experiences with you on the business analysis side. I will be giving you certain situations, certain scenarios to understand how a business, what is expected out of a business analyst and how can you perform business analysis role in a better way, right? So thanks for bringing it up, Saroj. And I'm hoping that from the case studies and the experiences that I would be sharing in the class, you would have a real life view of how does a business analysis work.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right, great. So one more request to the group that we have here. Um, Please make it an interactive session because I would be asking you a lot of questions immediately after this slide. So please be interactive because if we don't make this session interactive, probably I can finish the session in the next 30 minutes, right? So make more and more, ask more and more questions and make it more and more interactive. So this is basically the agenda. I would not be going through the entire agenda today. We'll keep it short. Probably we'll keep the class close to 1.5 hour today. We'll not go beyond that. This is what we will be covering. Uh, business analysis, business analysis techniques. Just let me pick a pointer here. All right. So we will start with the business analysis. We'll try to understand the concept of business analysis, who practices business analysis, and what and why around the business analysis. So what is business analysis and why it is important. We'll spend a good amount of time discussing this term business analysis because this would then form the foundation of what we would be discussing in the next class. Techniques is something that I would not be focusing on too much in this class today because we would be learning the techniques from the next class onwards, right? But I'll definitely help you understand with the term techniques. What do we mean by the term techniques here? Then, uh, the million dollar question: who is a business analyst, and what role is he expected to play? Right? So, importance of being in the job market, definitely, since you are all here in this training, you know the importance of being in the job market, and top reasons why the companies choose business analysis. So the focus or the main agenda for today's discussion would be restricted to the first 3 points: uh, business analysis, then who is a business analyst. These two will be discussing a lot, and then I would quickly touch upon the techniques. What do we mean by techniques? Okay, so let's start with the term business analysis. Now, before I go ahead and explain the term business analysis, I would like to understand from you, what do you mean by the term business analysis? Since you are the one who has invested your time, your money, your resources into this training, definitely you would be having a fair idea, or at least some vague idea of around the term business analysis, right? So let's hear from everyone what is their understanding of the term business analysis. Go ahead. Feel free to unmute yourself, and you can talk.
Yes, business analysis, overall analysis of the whole operation of the business, like the operational side, including the financial as well as a bit of the sales side, like how to push a product in the market or making the analysis of sales, marketing.
All right. So Naman says it's analysis of the business. Okay.
Yeah.
What else? What do others have to say?
Mm, uh,
Business
for
analysis has to do with general functioning of the business, like from
Saroj, sorry to stop you. Your voice is, you're not audible. Could you please be a bit louder?
uh, you talking to me?
I believe it was Saroj talking, right?
No, that
no,
was
I
Kenneth.
was talking.
Kenneth? Sorry. Go ahead, Kenneth.
Okay.
Okay, I said business analysis has to do with the overall functioning of the company, like functioning of all the segments or the departments of the company, from the human resources to the operations, um, analyzing how all of them comes together then to attain the objective of the company. I believe so.
Okay. So analyzing again, the crux is analyzing the business, right? Various departments. Basically, you said finance, operations, understanding the information, and then analyzing it. Okay. Anyone else?
Uh, so what I understand about business analyst role is like in a company there would be
Maybe
like
more audible. I can hardly hear him.
oh sorry. So can you hear me?
Yeah.
So I was telling like what I have known about the business analyst role is like in a company there might be a development team and there might be a tester team and all kind of those kind of thing. And the other side there would be a customer or client. So that client would like to have an application or software, some kind of product. So as a business analyst, I would be dealing with the client, reviewing their requirements and passing those requirements, business requirements, to my development team, to my quality assurance team, to the organization. So at the same time, I would be also communicating with the stakeholders, what would be their expectation about the project and about the product. So that's that's the basic thing I have understood so far.
Okay. Got it. So for the people who are not from an IT background, what Saroj is talking about is the landscape of an IT, and where does the role of a business analyst fits in. Okay. Even if you're not coming from an IT background, need not to worry. We would be covering the basics of an IT as well. So some basics we would be covering as to the teams that Saroj mentioned: development team, quality team, what is the entire life cycle of a project or a product. We'll definitely go through that. Okay. But Before that, everybody said analyzing the business. Can you try to explain the term business? So let's try to split this term into two: business and analysis. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, can anyone explain the term business? What is business?
Business would be any operation that is carried out in the market. That Business is any organization that looks to make profit um, out of the things that it does, or the characteristics that it possesses. Like some of the companies is purely for manufacturing, while
Hmm.
some just aim on exporting stuff, like by buying it from local customers and then exporting it.
Hmm.
So when you make a profit out of it, I would say that is what business is all about, like, profit
Okay.
making.
All right. Is business always about making a profit? There's still business in the there are still some businesses which operate for not for profit, right?
Yes.
Right. So when you say business, uh, if I have to say business, business exists to fulfill some of the needs of the customer or to fulfill the needs of the customer. How to fulfill the needs of the customer? They do it either through a product or a service, right? So we first need to understand the product. What is the difference between a product and a service? Anyone? What do you mean by the term difference, or what's the difference between product and a service?
Mm, I would say like it's kind of tangible or intangible. I mean, product you can see, you can you can use it.
Product is
Service,
tangible, while service is not.
Saroj, you need to speak closer to the mic.
sorry,
Your voice is very
no
feeble.
worries. Uh,
Product is
let me double
tangible,
check it.
while service is not.
So is it fine right now?
Okay.
Hello.
Yep. Go ahead.
So I was telling like product is a tangible thing, and you can see it, you can use it, and service at the same time will give you kind of sense of feeling that the someone is taking care of your need. So that's just a basic thing I would like to say.
Okay. Right. So that is correct. Project by product, what we mean is tangible. So if you talk about iPhone or Android, any Android phones, what are they? They are products. Now, if you talk about services, services could be your hospital services. When you go to a hotel, you take a room, and then they provide you room services. What are these? Those are the intangible things. So when something is, when you can feel it physically, it becomes a tangible. It becomes a product, and then there are certain services that the other businesses provide. So first of all, if I if we talk about the business, business is all about fulfilling the needs of the customer or the expectations of the customer in the form of a product or a service. And then what about they exist either for a profit or not for profit. It is not that a business always exists for a profit. No, there are certain businesses which exist for not for profit as well. Now, why are we trying to understand the term business? Because let's say if you're going into the role of a business analyst, the very first step you would be doing is to understand the business, what business your client is in. That the analysis of the business is going to impact the way you would perform your business analysis. Until and unless you understand the business of your client or the business of your customer, you would not be able to do a good job of business analysis. And that is why understand first of all what is on the table that your customer has to offer. Is he offering a product? Is he offering a service? Is he in the business of for profit, or is in the business of not for profit? That is one, right? So that is something that we mean by business. Now coming to the term analysis, everybody said analysis means analyzing. What are we trying to analyze? Let me know. What are we trying to analyze?
say we are trying to analyze the um, how to deliver the products and the services in such a way to optimize the needs of all the customers or the stakeholders.
Mm, that is the end objective, right? That is not
Yeah.
analyzing. What is the dictionary meaning of the term analyze and analyze or analyzing? Or what do you analyze?
We would
My question
analyze
is, what do you analyze?
what to analyze.
Data and information.
Analyze means
Data
bring
and information. Bang on. We analyze data and information, which means there has to be a specific information from the business that you're trying to analyze. Only then you can perform business analysis, right? There has to be certain information about the business. What kind of information? Whatever existing information that we have at hand today, you need to analyze that information to understand the business and to perform the analysis. If you perform an analysis on the data, it becomes data analysis. Basically the number crunching and all that. And then there is certain information. Whenever you're trying to analyze the information, what you do is you analyze the existing information. Please note, I'll write it down. You analyze the existing information. You cannot assume anything. The first step in the business analysis is you analyze. Whenever you are analyzing, you analyze the existing information. You cannot say that okay, this could be a possibility and then I would analyze it. No, you do the analysis with the given information that we have at hand today, which means analysis is it's a discovery rather than an invention, I would say. It's a discovery, which means you have the information, you need to scratch that information and then see what is that you can analyze, but you cannot assume anything. I hope you know the difference between a discovery and an invention. Discovery means something which is already existing, but then you need to find it out, and invention means you need to create. The simple definition or the simple statement is you cannot create any information that you need to analyze. No, you analyze the existing information. Whatever you have at hand, you need to analyze that. Okay? You cannot make up anything. Please note that. The second is, let's talk about this again, analysis on the other part. Now, how do you analyze? Let's say you have the information, and how will you analyze that information? How would you analyze the information?
You try to basically figure out how to use the current information
Hmm.
by probably um, adding something to it or reconfiguring the information in a way that it would still,
Hmm.
give up our that would lead us to our end objective.
Okay. Let me ask you a question. When you joined this particular training program, somebody at the KGS would have asked you certain questions, right?
Yeah.
Why do you think they asked you those questions?
Uh, to know if I would be fit enough to for the program, or would I be able to actually understand the program clearly enough, maybe.
Right. So what they were doing, they were asking the questions to analyze your information. Whatever information you have given them, they were asking the questions to analyze the information. Right? Probably they would have asked what are your expectations? What do you expect from this course? What's your career background? Why? Because you're trying to analyze information. So analysis means asking the questions, asking the right questions. Okay. First of all, you cannot assume anything, which means you cannot create the information. They cannot. Let's take an example of this particular training itself. Did KGS said that okay? No. Let's take an example of Naman. That Naman does so and so. No, right? They whatever information Naman would have provided them in the form, they took that information. They could not fill the form on his behalf, right?
Yeah.
Or let's say for anyone else, which means they have to analyze the existing information. Now, how did they analyze? They ask questions, Naman. What is the expectations from? Like even I was doing the same. I wanted to understand from you what is your career background, what interests do you have, and again, what is your expectations from this course. So what I was trying to analyze your interest area into this particular training. So how do we analyze? We analyze by asking questions. Until unless you ask the right questions, you would not be able to do an analysis. And I'll take certain examples. Don't worry, I'll be taking certain examples to prove what questions do we need to ask.
Okay.
So analysis helps you understand the problem statement of the company or the problem statement of your client. That is the basic goal of the analysis. Once you ask questions, you analyze the existing information. How does it help you? It helps you understand the problem that your client is facing today. Until and unless you understand the problem of your customer, you would not be able to suggest a solution to them, or you would not be able to provide a valuable or you would not be able to provide a value to their organization. So ultimately, the end goal of the analysis is to understand the problem statement of your customer. Make sense? I'll take a pause here. Any questions so far?
Not yet, not that I can think of right now.
Okay, great. All right. One more request, guys. If you're not talking, please put yourself on mute. There's too much of an echo or a static sound on the mic. Okay. So I would really appreciate that. All right. So now we talked about analysis on certain part. We said that it cannot be assumed, and then you have to ask the questions to understand the problem of the customer. Let's take an example. Let's say Bank of America has hired you as a business analyst. What they're trying to do is they're trying to have an online presence. And let's say they currently do not have an online presence, and they have hired you as a business analyst to help them uh, create an online presence. Right? This is the scenario. Now you're going for your first meeting with the Bank of America people. What are the questions that you would intend to ask, or what are the questions that you can ask to them? Note that this is the very first meeting, and this is not probably the 10th or the 15th meeting with their team. No, this is the first meeting that you are having with Bank of America. Now, what kind of questions you can ask?
Pretty much like what is the business exactly about so that we can use the data uh, to make their online presence accordingly and ask them like what kind of online presence do they require at the moment.
Okay, so what kind of business is Bank of America in? All right, what else?
Basically, what are the things they want to uh, showcase in their online?
Mm,
They have new products that they want to put in there. You know,
mm,
those are questions that will feature in.
no. So see, that is one thing probably I would like to highlight. Everybody, even me, what we generally do is we tend to jump to a solution. What you are right now saying, that will try to ask them what products they would like to showcase. That is a solution, not a problem statement.
Okay.
Have you understood the problem? They said that they want to go online. Is that a problem?
Yes.
No, that is not a problem. What is a problem? Why do they want to go online is a problem,
Okay.
right? Getting my point?
Yes.
See, going online is a kind of a solution that they have thought of. You need to ask probing questions. Why do you want to go online? Is that you are getting a beating in the market from your competition? Or is that your strategy that you will beat your because you see that internet is going to be a big force in the coming 10-15 years, so and that is why you want to go online. If this says that now we're getting a beating from the competition, our competition has already gone to the gone online, they have an online presence, and we're losing our customers to them, we can definitely understand that yes, they're having a problem. Or if they say that no, we want to keep ourselves ahead in the market, we know that the internet is going to be a big force in the next 10 to 15 years, and let's take this route. It becomes an opportunity statement or an opportunity area for Bank of America. So you have to ask probing questions to understand why do they want to go online. Going online is a solution that they have thought of, and your client will never share the problem statement with you in the very first go. Right? They'll always say that we are looking for some business analyst who can help us take online. You need to understand why. What is the reason that they have executed the project or the program? Why is that they intend to go online? What are the benefits that they seek by going online? Those are the questions that we need to ask in the first meeting. Does that help?
Yeah.
Right? So as I said, it is asking about, or it is all about asking the right questions. Like, what was the intent for asking the question, your expectations from this training program? The only reason was to understand why have you joined this training program. Most of the people said, most of you gave certain reasons. It's okay. Everybody has their own reason. But I was just trying to understand why at the first place you are here. What is that you want to achieve out of this? What are the benefits that you want to see? Because see, it is you who has invested time and money. For me, you are the client, right? At the end of the day, it is my job to provide you a value. Until and unless I step into your shoes and understand why have you joined this training program, probably at the end of the course you'll not give a feedback to me, or probably you'll give a very poor feedback to me, because I would have not provided any value to you, or this course would have not done any justice to you. So the first step is to understand, to step into the shoes of the customer. And so in the business analysis term, we say that familiarize yourself with the mission and the vision of the organization. Understand the mission of the program, I would say, or whatever you want to say. You can say it a program, you can say the company, whatever you want to say. Which means until and unless you step into the shoes of the customer and see what they are trying to achieve, what why they are trying to achieve that, then only you can do a good job of analyzing their business. Right? Otherwise, let's say if I would have not asked you that question as to why do you intend to join this training program, I would simply gone through the slides, close the session or close this training in probably 3 to 4 weeks, and done. No, now probably I have a clear expectations that people are looking for a career enhancement. Most of the people in this group are looking for a career enhancement, which gives me a reason to share my experiences, which gives me a reason to share case studies with you. So it is not that business analysis is a rocket science. No, it is that we all do in our daily life. We just need to understand from a business perspective, from a customer perspective, that what is the other person trying to achieve out of it. We need to step into that shoes. I'll take a pause here. Any questions before we move on to the slide?
No.
Okay. All right. So let's let me take you through the definition of the business analysis. It says business analysis is a set. Let me underline a few things here. It is a set of tasks and techniques to understand the structure, policies, and operations of the organization. Now, what do we mean by task and what do we mean by techniques? Anyone, what do we mean by tasks and what do we mean by techniques?
Task is a specific set of work or
Hmm.
um, anything that we are asked to do or we plan on to do is a
Okay.
task.
Is a task. Okay.
Yeah, and a technique is the way by which we plan to do it, or in the if we
Excellent. Right.
a specific way to do it.
It's a specific way to do it. Let's say you want to uh, conduct a meeting, or let's take this example of training, right? Uh, what is a task? Task is to attend the training or to deliver the training. Technique is through WebEx. So task means an activity that you have to perform. Technique means how do you perform that activity. From a business analysis perspective, let's take an example of you have to do a requirements gathering. When I say requirements gathering, I simply mean you have to ask questions to understand the problem statement of the client. What is that he is looking for? What is the expectations the client is having? So you need to conduct that activity. Now there are various methods through or various techniques through which you can conduct it. You can either have an interview session, you can either invite your customers or your clients to a workshop, you can write down an email, you can write down a questionnaire or a survey, then you can have a brainstorming session. So there are a lot many techniques that we can employ. So task means what is the activity that you're supposed to perform, and technique means how do you perform that activity. Now, so a business analysis is a set of tasks and techniques. First thing, to understand the structure, policies, and operations of the organization. Now, what do we mean by the structure here? Anyone? What is the structure? Is it the hierarchy that I want to understand? Who is the CEO, who is the CTO, or who is the COO, or what do we mean by the structure here?
Probably the running of business, as in business organization, as in how does it run? Does it run to the hierarchy, or what is the business structure? Like what kind of products does it sell, or how does the business operations go on as of right now, like presently?
Okay, let's say I'm working for a Walmart. Okay, and I'm performing for a certain department. I'm performing the business analysis role, and again, I am new and I'm trying to understand the structure of the organization. What am I trying to understand? Definitely, what you said that what business they are in, that would not be the structure. The structure is when I say structure, I mean we as a business analyst, or the definition here means we as a business analyst needs to understand our stakeholders. Who are our stakeholders? Until and unless we know these stakeholders, probably we do not know whom to approach. We'll not be able to ask probing questions because we don't know who our stakeholder is. So structure means understand the stakeholders for the program where you are working. Let's say if I am working in Walmart for a specific scenario where they've hired me as a business analyst. Why would I be interested in knowing who is the CEO or who's the CTO or who's the CEO or who's the leadership? I do not have any interest. My interest lies towards understanding who my stakeholders are. Who are the people working in that particular project or a program, and to whom I am responsible and accountable. Whose ways of working is getting impacted because of the change that I'm trying to bring in. Right? That is what I mean by the structure. Then we have the policies and the operations. So policies, by here we do not mean the HR policies. Let me be very honest with you here. We do not mean the HR policies. By policies and operations, we mean the business rules, the business logic, and the business information. Because until and unless I understand the, as I said, I understand the business, I would not be able to perform business analysis at all. Because the name itself says business analysis, analyze the information of the business. Now, if I don't understand the business at all, what can I analyze? So that is all about business analysis. It is a set of tasks and techniques, which means there are certain activities that you have to perform, and there are certain ways to perform those activities, though, which will help you understand or analyze the business information for your stakeholders. Does it make sense? Does the definition make sense to you?
Yes.
Um, it wasn't a very confident yes. Any questions? See, feel free to stop me.
Uh,
Feel free to question me, whatever you have, because at the end, I don't want you to say that I did not get anything. This class did not provide me any value.
yeah,
So,
I just had like one question. You said that why would you have interest in the CEO or CFO, but
mhm,
wouldn't they be the stakeholders of the company or even a specific project? Because every CEO or a CFO, even though it doesn't matter what kind of project it's going on, it would still, I mean, they would still have an interest in the project.
definitely, very good point. And I was really wondering why the people have not stopped me into saying that CEO, COO, or the CFO or any other leadership is not my stakeholder. You're right. They are also my stakeholders, but they are not my immediate stakeholders. Right? They are not my immediate stakeholders. It is not that they are not my stakeholders. Everybody in the company would be a stakeholder, but they are not my immediate stakeholders. And that is why probably and that is why I said probably I do not have interest in knowing who my leadership is. It is one is about knowing it. One is about being approachable and being going out to the stakeholders to understand what is that they're looking for. See, ultimately, who are my stakeholders? Anyone whose ways of working is getting impacted would be my stakeholder. It can be my customer, it can be my business, it can be anyone. So, anyone, if the simple definition for a stakeholder is anyone whose ways of working is getting impacted, is my stakeholder. And it can be CEO, CFO, CTO, any leadership. I don't care. It can be, it may not be. Okay?
Okay.
The second is business analysis is performed, or business analysis is performed to define and validate the solutions. Now, the first step in the business analysis is to understand the problem statement. What is that the uh, company or your client is trying to address? The second is around defining a solution to them to help mitigate that particular problem. Many people say business analysis only means understanding the problem. No, it also means providing a solution to your customers so that can generate value for them. Why would somebody give you money just to understand their problem? Right? Nobody. Nobody would give you money to just to understand their problem. They'll give you money to provide a solution to their problem. Does it make sense? So, the role of a business analyst is not only to understand the problem but also to provide a solution. Go ahead. I feel somebody wants to ask a question. Okay. All right. The third is to maximize, again, the same point, to maximize the value delivered by an organization to its stakeholders. Now, until and unless we deliver the value to any one of these stakeholders or to the entire organization, we are not doing a good job of business analysis. Even for this training, You will only find this training successful when we generate some value for you. When you feel confident that yes, you know something about business analysis. If you don't feel confident, then probably this training has not generated any value for you, right? So at the end of the day, or at the end of the contract, until and unless the organization feels that yes, it has gained certain value, probably there is no need, or you have not done a good job of analysis. And how would you provide the value? By providing a solution. How would you provide a solution? By understanding their problem statement. How would you understand their problem statement? By asking the right questions. How would you ask the right questions? By analyzing the information that you have at hand. That is how it tied up to the end. Right? We started top down. Now we are going bottom up. Did you see how did everything tied up together? How do you deliver the value? By delivering the solution. How do you deliver a solution? By understanding the problem. How do you understand the problem? By asking questions. What kind of questions do you ask? You analyze the information to ask the questions. Does this slide make sense to you? What is business analysis?
It does.
Hello?
It does.
Okay. Good to hear that. All right. Now, why is business analysis important? We have been talking a lot about business analysis. What is business analysis? Now, why is business analysis important? Business analysis, if I have to say, there are few things in the business analysis and what makes it important. The first and the foremost, as the point says, to articulate the need for a change. Now, what does this line mean? But what do you understand in the first time when you read this line? Let's say to identify and articulate the need for a change. What comes to your mind?
Probably with all the upgrading technology, there's a specific, like, mandatory need for a change, and it's probably to identify what change is needed and how can we proceed towards that change.
Mm, articulate. What do you mean by articulate? What do you mean by articulate?
It partially means to understand.
Understand and document. Articulate means understand and document. Now, identify and articulate the need for a change. Let's take this example, or let's
Can
take the
you be
example.
louder, please?
I'm sorry.
Can you be louder, please?
Yep. Is it better now? Hello.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Great. All right. So, see, now let's take an example of this training again. There is, uh, you are looking as a trainee, you are looking for some change, right? Today you are at point X, you want to go to, or you are at point A, you want to go to point B by enhancing your skill set, right? That is the change you are looking for. Now, somebody has to articulate that change. Who would tell the business that this is how you should go from point A to point B? That is what articulation means. First of all, change means, see, from a business analyst perspective, and if the organization has hired you, they are definitely facing some problems. If they are facing some problems, they are looking for a mitigation as well, which means they are they're ready to move from point A to point B, or they want to move from point A to point B. So that is what the change is all about. And to articulate the need for a change, which means there has to be someone who can define, who can document, and who can understand what is the organization is looking for. Let me take an example. Give me a minute. Let me try to find out one document. Mm. Allow me a moment. Let me show you some infographics. Okay, I'm sharing a PDF file. Let me know when you see it. It says the slide says requirement. Do you see it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now see, these are 10 images that are there in the screen, and I'm sure many of you would have seen it earlier as well. Let's see it from the lens of a business analysis now. It says the first infographic says how the customer explained it. So the customer said, I am looking for a swing tied to a branch of a tree with three steps or with n number of steps. Now, how the project leader understood it. So this example, probably there would be some terms or some roles which are specific to IT. You may not be able to follow it, or you may not be able to follow the roles, but I'll explain you the gist. So look at how the customer explained it. The second image says how the project leader understood it, which means there is some person who is driving the project. What is his understanding? What see the first gap, communication gap coming in. The second communication gap comes in when how the analyst designed it. Analyst does not mean here the business analyst. Analyst here means a system analyst. So it is basically the system analyst in an IT world who design the systems. How the programmer wrote it. So the programmer is the one who does the coding. So all I want to share here is look at the communication gap that is flowing from the customer to the IT team. The next important image is how the project was documented. Absolutely zero documentation, no documentation at all. What the operations installed and what the customer really needed. Now look at this, what the customers really needed. Now where do you see is the difference? What difference do you see here? Tell me, what is your takeaway from this particular slide?
Uh, if the requirements are not documented,
Even
from going
before, even before that, what is the first thing you would observe here?
that even the customer did not explain what probably he
You
needed.
right. Even the customer did not know what he needs. That is where you have to perform the analysis. A good business analyst will ask probing questions to the customer to understand the problem. Until and unless you understand the problem of a customer, ultimately you will not be able to deliver the value. So itself, in the first image and in the last image, there is a big gap. What the customer needed and how the customer explained it. The customer may know what is in need for, but he may not be able to explain you, or he or she himself does not know what they are expecting. Right? So as a business analyst, keep on asking why. Keep on scratching. Keep on asking why and keep on scratching. And till the time you get to the root of the problem statement, then your solution is going to work. Right? Now, this is the first thing that needs an observation here around the customer. The second observation, as um you said, was basically around there was zero documentation. Had this project or had the requirements from the customer been documented, everybody would have been on the same platform, or everybody would have carried the same understanding. Because there was absolutely zero documentation, everybody had their own understanding of the project. And that is where the role of the business analyst comes in. If you're ready to do a lot of documentation, then choose this role. Else, don't choose the role. Being very upfront, very straightforward. If you can do a documentation, I mean a lot of documentation, choose this role. If you can't, don't choose this role. Because ultimately, as a business analyst, you have to document the requirements. That is where the team would then take the requirements from you or the document from you to build the application or build the software further. So it involves a lot of documentation that the business analyst has to perform, has to do. I'll take a pause here. Any questions? Okay. So I was basically on it's the articulate the need for a change. Now, again, to change the current state of an organization that are made to enable the organization meet the business needs. Quite a complex statement. The ultimate point is how do you move from point A to point B? That is the only point this is talking about. How do you move from point A to point B? That is what the business analysis is all about. Why we want to perform the analysis? Because you want to move from the problem statement to a uh, to this particular area where there would be no problem or the problem would be mitigated. So that is why you perform the analysis. And definitely, ultimately, the same point to maximize the value delivered by an organization to its stakeholders. Until and unless you're delivering a value to your stakeholders, this does not make any sense. It is a waste, sheer waste of resources if your stakeholders are not happy. Does it make sense to you now?
It
I'll
does.
take a pause here. Any questions, any thoughts you want to share, let me know. But what I need is understand, be clear on the term business analysis. What is analysis? What is that people expect from business analysis role, and what it takes to be a business analyst. Okay? Anyone? Anything else? Okay. All right. So uh, let's carry that concept further of business analysis. Now, as I said, business analysis is a set of tasks and techniques. Look at some of the tasks here, and these are just on the sample basis. We would be covering more tasks in details once we go through the series of classes. So the first task is conduct the stakeholder analysis, which means understand who the stakeholders are, what responsibilities do they carry, and where do they fit in the power metrics, which means do they have the power to say no or influence the project, or what is that? So the first task is to conduct the stakeholder analysis, and then there are various techniques to perform the stakeholder analysis. Plan business analysis activities, which means activities that you see you will be doing in the project, in the entire project. Plan for that. Business analysis communication. How are you going to communicate with your client? At what frequency? What interval? All those things goes into business analysis communication. Requirements management process. Again, this is a little complex, which means how do you manage the requirements? Let's say you have so many requirements. You have, let's say, hundreds and hundreds of requirements. How do you manage those requirements? And then plan, monitor, and report on the business analysis performance. So, how do you monitor your performance? All these are examples of tasks that a business analyst can perform. Please note that these are just the examples. These are not all the tasks that a business analyst can perform. No, there are a lot many other tasks as well. These are some of the techniques. Again, just reiterating the definition, business analysis is a set of tasks and techniques. So we looked at some of the tasks in the previous slide. Now looking at the techniques. So techniques is all about, let's say, conducting interviews. That is one way of gathering the information. Process modeling. So process modeling means you create certain diagrams around the processes, flow charts. What is that? That is process modeling to understand the requirement. Requirements workshop we talked about. Another area where you can invite your stakeholders to understand what they need. Again, another technique, right? So there are n number of techniques defined for n number of tasks.
Hello, excuse me.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, do we have materials on this to study more study material?
I'm sorry.
Do we have study material on this to read on our after class?
Yes, I would be sharing the study material with you as well.
Okay.
All right. Now, as I said, I would be talking to you about a generic landscape in an IT. This is how the landscape in an IT looks like. Uh, this is an IT team. I'll explain the participants here, and this is your business team. If you see, they operate in silos. Now, let's first talk about the business team. Who are the business sponsors? What do you think? Who are the sponsors?
The sponsors for the
CEO.
product or the service that the company is trying to give
Which means
at the end. That
they
means
give
budgeting, like
budgeting,
funding. Yeah,
which means funding. So the
yeah.
sponsors are the one who give the funding to the project. So they are the business sponsors. Then we have business visionary. Who, who are the business visionaries?
CEOs, the CFOs.
CEO, CFOs who can think 5 to 7 years beyond today, right? As to where do we intend to take our business? Uh, Business teams and end users. Who are the business teams and end users? Basically, people who understand their business. Let's say Bank of America, right? Now, let's say there's a loan department in Bank of America. People who understand the loan process completely end to end, they are the uh, business teams and the end users because they are the ones who understand the business on the ground level. How does the business actually work? Then we have project managers. We have architect. Architect basically means again the same thing, who basically designs a system. And then we have business analysts. On the IT side, we have your development team. Development team is the one who actually develops the software. We have the quality assurance team or the test manager who would test what the development team has developed. And then we have SMEs, which stands for subject matter experts. We may have subject matter experts on both the sides. Now, if you look at these two teams, they operate in silos. And there is a specific reason why do they operate in silos. IT does not understand the business. Business does not understand the IT. Simple. IT does not understand business. When I say IT does not understand business, what I mean is they are not aware about the business that you are in, right? Let's say you are running you're running a business. Nobody would know what business you are running. IT would not know what business you are running. They can guide you on the technology, they can guide you on the implementation, but they cannot tell you what business you are in. Similarly, business knows their operations, their processes better, but they are not the right person to suggest what technology should be used or what technology must be used. So, where does the role of business analyst comes in? Business analyst acts as a communication bridge between these two teams, business and the IT. So, this is where the business analyst comes in. He acts as a communication bridge between the business team and an IT team to facilitate the communication. He acts as a bilingual dictionary. which means what the business team is saying, he would understand it, document it, take it to the IT team. Whatever IT team has developed and tested, he'll bring it back to the business in their own language. So basically, the business analyst is working as a communication bridge between the business and the IT. So this is what the definition is for the business analyst. Who is a business analyst? Business analyst acts as a communication bridge between IT and the business stakeholders. Until and unless you understand both the sides of the world, you are
Excuse me.
not doing the justice to the other party.
Excuse me.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Is this definition of business analyst in terms of IT?
I'm sorry, could you please repeat your question?
Is this the definition of business analyst in terms of IT or in the field of IT?
Whatever you say, be it IT, be it business, generally the definition is for a business analyst is the person who understands the business and is able to communicate with the business.
Yeah, because you said is it acts as a communication bridge between IT
Right.
and the business
And
stakeholders. So
right.
when you mean IT,
IT means technology.
information
See,
technology,
information
right?
technology. Generally, if you look at the industry, who is doing most of the hiring today for the business analyst? It is the IT, information technology, the the technology companies. We have like there are many like we have Microsoft, Facebook, Google. There are all these technology companies. You'll find a lot of roles of business analysts in these companies, or an IT department of any business would be hiring for a would be hiring for a business analyst because as a business analyst, you know how to understand the business. You know how to analyze the business. Okay? So IT here means the technology.
Okay.
Technology does not know what a business does. Business does not know what technology to use. You have to be on both the sides of the world to see what do we mean by what. What is the need of the business? What technology has to offer? How can we marry these two together? That is the job of the business analyst. Okay. Any questions before I switch gears? Anything? No? Okay. Let me share one more document with you. Just give me a minute. Okay. Do you see my screen? I'm currently sharing International Institute of Business Analysis guide. It's a PDF again. Do you see that?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Great. So this is the guide now that we would be using for our discussion from the next class onwards. IIBA is International Institute of Business Analysis. It's a committee formed in 2004 in Canada. What this committee does is it lays out the best practices for the business analyst. It lists down all the tasks and possible techniques that a business analyst can employ on the job. It publishes those best practices, those tasks and techniques in a guide which is known as Business Analysis Body of Knowledge. Does it make sense? So and this is one of the most reputed institutes of the business analyst, one of the most reputed, and that is why we are looking at the guide published by them. We would be using this guide to understand the best practices of the business analyst, to understand what roles and responsibilities the business analyst has to play, and what tasks and techniques they can use to perform their job. Okay, so from the next class onwards, we will start looking at this guide. Any other thing because okay, so I'll take a pause here. I don't have anything else to cover in today's session. I don't want to make it very heavy for you all, this being the first session. So let's stop here today. Anything, any comments, any thoughts you want to share? It can be anything, but it can be my feedback as well. Do you want me to increase the speed, lower down the speed, or is the pace okay? Whatever you think, let me know, so accordingly we can manage it from the next class. Hello.
Hello.
Guys, any feedback? Yep, sure, go ahead.
Is there any way we can get that guide? I mean, at the end of the
I
class?
would be I would be sharing it. Probably not today, but later on
All
as we
right.
move forward, I would be sharing this guide because until unless you
Okay.
have the reading materials, probably it will
Yeah.
not make sense.
All right, no problem. I was just curious.
No, it
Yeah.
would be shared with you.
All right. Thank you.
Anything else?
That's all for me.
Okay. Kenneth, Naman, Rubana,
Yeah, I'm good so far.
awesome.
I only just need study book to guide,
Definitely, no, no, definitely, I would be sharing the guide. All right, then we'll stop here today, and then we'll meet on Monday. Okay.
So how can we get the recording? You will share that, or Ifan will share?
Uh, Let me just speak to the KGS team. Okay. I believe they would be sharing the recordings.
Okay, so I was just suggesting if there is a like Dropbox folder that we can log in anytime and then view the lecture, so that would be great.
Right. Let me just work on the logistics with the team, and right, probably by the next class we would all be set. Probably it would be a Dropbox or some Google folder where the recordings as well as the materials that we are referring to would be uploaded. Okay.
Okay, and what was your name? I actually forgot.
Varun, Varun. Yeah.
Varun. Okay, okay, great. Thank you so much, Varun.
Sure. All right. And goodbye, everyone. Take care.
Yeah, bye
Goodbye.
bye.